Good day again, everyone. Another day of Geshmei Bracha, a lot of rain in the land of Israel. Kos Tanchumim goes out to Julie Richard Ehrlich, sponsoring this month. Le'il Nishmat Richard's mother, Roberta Rachel Miriam Bat Yona La Shalom. Richard is sitting shiva this week. Hamokom Yenachem et Chemeto Shar Ve'etzim Shalayim. Thank our weekly sponsors, Eric and Sel Levine, Le'il Nishmat Sel's father, Yitzhak Meir Ben David Halevi. Thank Elon Yitzstern, sponsoring as a Chortkover Rebbe Shlema for Nissan Alevi Ben Tova, Chaim Yalfuld, sponsoring Nishmat, their beloved son Hillel, Olav Hashem and Yo Yaakov Sheyichya, and Marshall Lee Weinblatt, sponsoring this month Nishmat Gittel Bat Chaim Yisachar and Chavariva Bat Avram Yosef and Bracha. So I'm reading this sefer called Be'emet Uva'ava about the Hasidic Rebbeim. And well, they're all known to me on some level, but it's not really part of my world. And a lot of details I was unfamiliar with. So there's a short bio of the Chortkover Rebbe, Rebbe Yisrael Friedman. And I learned a lot, especially the ramifications for today. So the Chortkover Rebbe, years 1854-1933, was the grandson of a namesake of the original Rebbe, Rebbe Yisrael of Rizhin. And one of the issues that he dealt with is 1854-1933 was before, during, and after World War I, the rise of the Zionist movement and how the religious establishment, especially the Hasidic world, should relate to it. And he wasn't opposed. In fact, he didn't understand why anybody would oppose Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. Herzl himself writes in his diary that he asked to have an appointment with who he called the Tzaddik Friedman from Chortkov, and in the end he met his son, and the son was impressed and said to the father that we should do what we can. Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, the Chortkov later bought land in Israel, and the Chortkover Rebbe said he's going to form a Kenes Rabbanim in Vilna and will thrash out the issues. And he predicted that the Hungarian rabbis will be implacably opposed to Zionism. The Galician rabbis would not pose any impediment at all. What he didn't count on, of course, was the power of the Hungarian rabbis together with the Belzer Rebbe, who was opposed as well. In any event, he took a different approach. And the way it's presented in this mini biography in the Sefer is there really were two sides to this. One represented by Rav Kook. The question everyone dealt with, one is, how is God using these heretics, the founders of secular Zionism, to act as catalysts for redemptions? That didn't bother Rav Kook as much because he said that we could oppose, we could ostracize, or we could work together, we could grow together and try to influence them from within. And he said that obviously, and it's a very concise way of expressing this, he said that the religious establishment failed and the process of Geula is therefore frozen. So who is God going to use? Going to use those who are Bali Chutzpah, who are impudent, like people who are Kofrim, who want Zionism to replace the Torah. And he said that's in line with Chazal said in the Mishnah at the end of Sota, Be'ekvot Mashiach Chutzpah Yizkeh, that in the footsteps of Mashiach, Chutzpah will increase. And these are the Bali Chutzpah. So try to incorporate them, work with them, and that can only benefit everyone. The opposite view was held by the Munkacher Rav and famously the Satmar Rav, and they said that the entire Zionist movement is heretical, it's not redemptive, and it's completely disqualified, and any successes of the Zionist movement are what they called Maaseh Satan. It's the work of Satan. All right, it's obviously almost an untenable idea now. It actually is irrefutable because whatever successes the Jewish state has, economically, financially, the land is flourishing, we defeat multiple enemies in miraculous ways, you could always say it's a Maaseh Satan and the great catastrophe is still ahead of us. You can't disprove that, but that's why everything is bad. It's all the work of Satan. Where did the Chortkover Rebbe come down on this? He took a sort of intermediate approach, and he wrote in a letter that, yeah, it is Maaseh Satan, the Zionist movement, but not how the Satmar or the Munkacher Rebbe's look at it. Ze shacharidim ol einam olim l'Eretz Yisrael, ze vadei Maaseh Satan. The fact that Charedim do not make Aliyah, that is Maaseh Satan, meaning that the way it works out, because we didn't make Aliyah, now we have an excuse to remain passive because we'll say, look, all the Kofrim are in charge. That's the Maaseh Satan, that because the secular Zionists were the leaders, it's depriving us of the opportunity to participate with them. Because everyone knows, Ki im hayu olim, hayu mikarvim et ha'geula. If the Charedim made Aliyah en masse, we would hasten the redemption. Not only that when the Charedim would come to the land of Israel, Titgaber HaKedusha, Kedusha would be, the holiness would be overwhelming. And all those whose hearts are hardened against Torah, they would have to submit and do tshuva as well. What a powerful statement. It's not that it's negative, it's that we interpreted it in a way that sort of rationalizes our reluctance to get involved, and that itself is the Maaseh Satan. And he went on to say that we could oppose, alienate, ostracize, or we could try to incorporate. And ultimately, the goal is to combine together the two Kedushot, the two sanctities, the sanctity of Torah and the sanctity of the land of Israel. And that really was Rav Kook's goal. The Chortkover just came at it from a different perspective. All right, what does it mean for today? Because this dispute is still raging in the land of Israel. That's one of the reasons why the Haredim are not fully integrated in society. And he ends by saying the important question is not who started the movement, but where's the movement headed? Think about it. Have a good day.